This is a big story, and we have a big guest who's been in the center of all of it, the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Adam Schiff. He led the prosecution, of course, at the impeachment trial and is potentially one of the people in the crosshairs of this whole revenge effort. First of all, thanks for joining me, Chairman Adam Schiff.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
What is your response first to the legal development of the Justice Department taking this unusual step, trying to cancel a guilty plea that already existed?
Well, the usual response to so many events within the Trump administration, shock, being aghast, and yet not at all surprised, because this is the history of this president and this attorney general who views his job as essentially carrying out the dirty work for the president. Let's remember what was at stake here. The president of the United States, then Barack Obama, imposes sanctions on Russia for interfering in the U.S. election. One of the chief surrogates of Donald Trump, who the Russians have just helped get elected, has secret conversations with the Russians designed to undermine those sanctions. And then he lies about it to the vice president. The vice president goes out and misleads the country about it. And the FBI becomes concerned that Flynn is compromised, because, of course, the Russians know that he's lied. And those lies have now been amplified by the vice president's statements. That is a prime counterterrorism risk and the subject of a more than valid counterintelligence investigation. What Bill Barr has just said in dismissing that case is, no, we shouldn't look into those things. And what's more, if you lie to the FBI about those things, it's perfectly fine. But what he's really saying is, if you're a friend of the president, then justice doesn't matter anymore in this country. And in that respect, I think we've rolled the clock back half a century to the days of Watergate, and we have really invalidated so many of the reforms we put in place to protect the independence of the Justice Department.
If this rolls back one of the convictions, one of the legal victories of the Mueller probe, and the president gets away with this and continues, and Bill Barr says out in the open, well, might makes right, the victor's right history, not something we are supposed to hear from a nonpartisan Justice Department. What do you say to people who are concerned that the president is basically getting away with it all?
Well, first of all, I would say to Bill Barr, you can't gaslight history. I don't think that the fact that you try to create this false narrative is ultimately going to succeed. Over much of the obstruction of the administration, we have uncovered a great deal of the president's misconduct with vis-a-vis Russia and Ukraine, and we will uncover the misconduct going forward. So I don't think he's right about that, as brash as it is and ugly to hear from an attorney general. In terms of the president and his threats of vengeance and whatnot, none of that, Ari, as you know, is new. And we are going to have to defend the institutions of this democracy until this threat no longer persists. There's a reason why this case is being dismissed under the cloak of a pandemic, under the cloak of night. And it's because they don't want these things to really see the light of day. So I think it's important that even during a pandemic, you're pointing these things out.
Let me get you on that. You think this was deliberately done by Bill Barr's Justice Department to take advantage of the pandemic and sneak it in?
Oh, I don't think there's any question that so much of what they're doing right now is being done because they know the country of necessity is focusing on life or death. The decision to fire Michael Atkinson, that's something the president wanted to do months ago, but he waited until now because we're contending with thousands of deaths every day. Similarly, he could have had Barr dismiss the Flynn case at any time. So, yes, I think that this is an effort to both distract the public attention. I think it's part of the broader effort that you were talking about last night, I believe, Ari, to rewrite history. That is, make the whole Russia investigation go away, create some alternate narrative that through sheer repetition they can try to get people to believe. But I have more confidence in history and the American people to see through these deceptions.
Well, I think it's very important what you say there, and that brings us to something else I want to ask you about. We were covering this last night, as you mentioned. I've always pointed out in legal reporting that Bob Mueller was very careful. He didn't find or indict on a criminal conspiracy in the election. He didn't. He really followed every case as it went by the facts. But this isn't about redoing what he found lawfully. It is about taking convictions that were already won and trying to reverse them. And I think that distinction is very important. The president made an admission that I want to play for you that's really quite stunning. And I want to warn viewers, what you're about to hear is a sitting president of the United States basically say that he views the Justice Department the same way Nixon did in the manner that got him forced out of office. It's really something. Again, the pandemic, you may be focused on other things, understandably, but I want to play this for the congressman's response, the president here on Fox.
If Bill Barr was your first attorney general, would there have been a Mueller probe and a Russia hoax?
No, there wouldn't be. He would have stopped it immediately.
Chairman Schiff, is that an incriminating admission? And what, if anything, does Congress do about it?
Well, absolutely. What he's basically saying is Bill Barr is doing all the dirty work that the president could want. Any investigation would never go forward of Donald Trump under Bill Barr. There's all too much truth to that. Indeed, as you know, the plea deal that Michael Flynn was offered was a very favorable plea deal. He was accused of other very serious conduct, doing illicit work for the Turkish government, not registering as an agent of a foreign power, and other potential crimes. So many thought he got off very lightly, pleading to this one charge of lying to the FBI. Well, there's little or no chance that Bill Barr will allow the investigation of those other serious crimes to go forward, or really probably anyone else who is a friend or lackey of the president's. Look at Bill Barr's already interference on behalf of Roger Stone to try to get him a lighter sentence. So, yes, the president installed Bill Barr for a reason. The president was dissatisfied with Jeff Sessions for a reason. He felt that Jeff Sessions should have been his Roy Cohn, and he wasn't. But he did get his Roy Cohn in Bill Barr. And what that means is when you have an unscrupulous president like this one, and an attorney general who is essentially acting as his defense lawyer, as is Rudy Giuliani, it means the prospect for further corruption malfeasance is that much greater. I do think that that Bob Mueller, as you say, was very careful and properly so. But I would think in some respects too careful. I think that the policy that he adhered to, that you can't indict a sitting president, was a mistake. And one that I hope that in retrospect, we come to recognize as a mistake, and we change that policy so that no one is above the law, not even a sitting president.
All very interesting and important reaction here to something that we're going to stay on because people need to know about it. Chairman Schiff, thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Ari.